Queen wine from their town. Very delicious. I hope we got it on film. So good.
Cheers, good race.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Cheers.
What did you think of the sailing over here in Breton?
I think it's amazing. I think the French coast is unbelievable.
Yeah.
A bit difficult.
A bit difficult
to understand.
Yeah.
I read today that Brittany has 3,400 miles of coastline.
All the islands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just Brittany.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how big were the tides?
I saw 10 meters at one point.
Like,
the spring tides.
But yeah, so it's almost as big as like the Bay of Fundy, right?
I think they're 14 or something, so pretty close.
Yeah.
I think it gets up to that much. In the area where we were, it's just north of Mont Saint Michel, where we did the whoop-de-woo.
Yeah.
And that has the most in Europe, Western Europe.
That was the part where we were splashing around a lot and we couldn't see anything. But the lighthouse to lighthouse, where we turned around.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was dark.
That was dark. Narrowly dodged that fishing pot.
Yeah.
But the hoist was fine. The wind started to increase after that, right?
Yeah, I think all of our hoists were pretty good. And all of our takedowns were pretty good. Especially the one that we had to do.
In two pieces.
Yeah, one half from the sky and one half from the sea.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
We got her in, just the two of us.
Yeah, so there goes the 2A. And the boat is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can handle a lot, hey?
Yeah.
More than the people sometimes.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah. Awful lot of water over the bow. And just...
And a low freeboard.
Yeah, and still just smoking along at like 20 knots with the whole boat underwater. That's insane. Yeah.
We had some good runs connecting the waves.
Yeah.
Surfing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The boat is incredible. Just so easy to get from wave to wave and just keep it rolling. I think we were sailing downwind for hours and hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
from daybreak, just before daybreak, until the mid-afternoon. We were mid to late afternoon. Really sunset, we started to turn upwind when it got dark. That was a long run with increasing wind the whole time.
Which day was that? Day 2?
The final day.
Day 3.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, so we got it handed to us. We did a great job, but
it was certainly tough.
Yeah.
Really important for the solitaire, because all that stuff is very much places we're going to be sent to navigate, and it's such the effect of the tide changes by the hour, by the minute sometimes, on where you can actually sail, because the depth changes so much, and how far you have to dig in changes so much. So
yeah,
and a really good practice for me to get in the groove of like, okay, I'll be there in an hour, then my strategy changes to this, and I have to prepare that this far ahead to put yourself in the right position.
I'm amazed with you on the boat at how well you just stick your head into everything and then still keep your cool and do all the navigating, and it's impressive.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It was cool to, when we were blasting downwind, that final jibe, and we had a moment to sit together put our weight in the right place and to hold on together in that survival mode. And it was cool because normally in that condition I'm alone.
Yeah. And
I'm shitting myself, but there's no one there to understand how crazy it is.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool that you were able to experience that too. And yeah, it's just something else. Because on your own you're like, am I crazy? Am I capable? What is happening? And it's nice to share that craziness with someone, the madness of sailing over here.
I told you that Rob Miles used to always say, I love the idea of double-handed sailing because you want one other person to just be able to look at and go, this is pretty messed up right here.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that it was.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, we learned a lot, and it was beautiful, and I had a lot of fun. Certainly exhilarating. I didn't. I never really got to check my my pulse, but I think it was up there.
It was up there.
Yeah.
But it's really cool also to have you on the boat because you have so much experience, and now that you've sailed it a little bit more, I think we're going to do a really good job optimizing it and making it like the challenge is really unique, right? Because the solo stuff adds a whole other dimension of having to simplify things, and it's not just it is performance, but it's also a human aspect. Can this one human do the performance? How to make it most simple, most easy to do a good job?
Yeah.
And that's I think having had you out there in some of the toughest conditions is really valuable because.
It's valuable for me because, you know, coming from such a different set of, let's call it, just bigger boats and different boats. You know, I was going to say platforms. This boat is so move specific, and it's very humbling because no matter, you know, we saw this with a bunch of other people in the fleet, very experienced people that had never been on the boat before that step on the boat, and, you know, you sort of beat your chest a little and you think like, oh, you know, I've got this, and it doesn't take, you know, a few hours before you realize that like it's a very move specific boat, and you need to learn how to sail the boat the way the boat's meant to be sailed and set up to be sailed.
Yeah.
You know, and I have to give huge kudos to all the French sailors and all of the people who have been sailing in this fleet for a long time, because they, besides being, you know, tough, they know this coastline, and that's an absolute necessity. I mean, that was obviously our biggest weakness. I realize now going into this race, just, you know, a couple of days trying to process all the information about, you know, however many miles we had to sail at least 600 miles of coastline and 200 miles offshore, and that's a lot to learn in a couple of days.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, and even right off the start line, we found the local effects were important because we had a really good start.
Yeah.
We navigated through it like it was a downwind start. It's not my strength. It's a hard thing to nail in a crowded fleet, and we had a good start. But in spite of, and we had been watching the breeze really, really well before the start. We thought we understood quite well where it was accelerating and all that. But we made a choice to go course left, downwind right, and the rest of a lot of the fleet went the other way, and there was clearly a local effect there that put us behind at the first mark, which we hadn't expected, and that's such a local thing that it's I definitely need to do some digging. Like we're provided with a lot of the local information through the weather training that we do, but there's always more to know, especially at the start, because now I mean, you've seen it since last year as well. Like as soon as you get behind, it's so hard to claw back because the one design fleet, everyone's so close and everyone's doing such a good job. So I'm gonna be sure to do like particularly good research for the starting venues, because if you start out behind, it's just so hard to claw your way back. Yeah, but
it's funny. I always think about what I used to hear all the time. Lowell North used to always say, "I've never seen the middle pay."
Yeah.
And racing 130s, you know, in Narragansett Bay, if you weren't following Phil Garland, you were doing something wrong. Yeah. So I think, you know,
and that's like so much of the fleet. If the most of the fleet is going one way, that you've got to assume that there's a good reason.
Yeah. If you've never been here before and you're, you know, it's your first time and you're going the opposite way of, you know, some of these guys that have done it 20 times, you know, you might want to rethink your.
Yeah. Back home, you know, it's if you're in last and the fleet's going one way, maybe you take a flyer and take a risk for a shift. But around here, the current plays such a big effect that you're rarely going to get a flyer going one way, because usually there's current that is going to come into factor, or there is like a front coming that's going to come into play because it's a bigger course than just a day race situation. So those flyers that we like to take back home, if you're in the back and take the risk, it often doesn't work that way here. So it's really a battle to get back. Yeah. And it was crazy because when we were going upwind, Did we ever have to do a back down upwind? Maybe one time.
No, I don't think that we did.
Just some
We backed down
seaweed
before the start.
Yeah.
And that was about it. And we didn't have too much weed. It was just that one time when we got the bunch of weed and then your buddy, the dead fish,
Yeah, it was crazy
wrapped
because
around the keel.
of course it's easier to clear your keel when you're going upwind, but as soon as you go downwind, it's much harder, and that's the only time we had the problem. That we had a hunk of weed and a mystery object. You were a master with the seaweed rope, chucking it over.
For my 40 days.
It was great, and that pulled off a lot of the weed, but that something else was still on the keel, so we did some intentional broaches to try to shake it off.
Yeah, that was new to me, intentional broaching.
That's pretty loose. That's
you don't do that
French.
on a maxi boat.
No, I wouldn't reckon.
Yeah.
It's not great for the speed, but it is fastest for the racing.
Yeah.
Usually, but that wasn't even shaking off the mystery object until we finally jibed and it came off.
Yeah.
But that was actually, in fact, a fucking fish. A huge fish just stuck on the keel.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I find that the jibing is always, it's a little bit different in each sort of force of wind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the jib just has to be always just right in the right place, and I don't quite have the knack of it just yet. Know exactly where to set the jib, but it really can hurt the sail when you're just trying to sail downwind if the jib's trimmed at all.
Yeah.
But I did see a significant drop in speed when we decided to take the jib down entirely, just to make life a little more simple. And it really does work as a staysail, as a spinnaker staysail, just untrimmed.
Yeah.
I think it adds stability as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like keeps it drawing more steadily with an extra foil.
Something, yeah. Yeah. I mean, just like a staysail would, right? But another interesting thing I thought was we had so much time out there.
Yeah.
And, obviously trying to get a little sleep each other, offsiding each other. If I was on deck alone, I would make sure to take off the auto helm, and I would steer, and I would make little adjustments, 1 inch or 2 inches on, whether it was the inhauler or the traveler. And the boat is so responsive that you could feel it in the helm. And so I would always set the boat up so that I had almost neutral helm.
Yeah.
And then I felt better about putting the autopilot on. But the autopilot is incredible. It does a great job steering, which, thank God, for when you're alone, I suppose you really have to rely on it.
Yeah, and this pilot, it's a different one than I had last year, and it's I'm only using the settings given to us in the manual because I haven't played that much with it, but there's a range to play with, and it's nice to know that the defaults are pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I understand a bit more of how I can tune it for small changes in the waves in the sea state.
I heard that Gildas is a master at setting it up.
Yeah, I guess.
And he helped out one of our buddies.
Yeah.
Significantly, and
that video of him hooning it downwind with the pilot settings was pretty impressive.
Oh yeah.
He said it was better than him steering, and
right. That was what he said. So, and I had found out on one jibe that I really trusted the pilot more than the other jibe, just based on the sea state.
Yeah.
And the couple of times that the pilot sort of let go.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I mean, I just can't say enough good about the boat and the design and how well built it is, because it was. Every time you lost it and you rounded up or something happened, it's, on another boat where, it would be hairy-carry, the boat was so forgiving.
Yeah.
And you could always get it back. You just had to be a little bit patient.
In the last race, the first race of the season, the Geekot 10, there was a really windy downwind, and I was hand steering pretty much that whole time. It was pretty maximum conditions for the A2, and I had just gotten the boat, hadn't tuned the pilot, wasn't ready to trust it solo. So I was hand steering and I was doing fine, I was getting back boats, but someone else in the fleet said they had their pilot on, and even when she was broaching, the pilot would take her back from a broach and not oversteer, which I have never trusted a pilot to do that.
Yeah.
And that was really interesting to hear.
I think that actually happened to us once.
Huh.
Yeah. Where my intention was to turn off the pilot and grab the helm and, save the day. But the pilot actually squared it away.
Another humbling case of pilot versus human.
Yeah, I mean it's incredible, and like we all want to be the greatest helmsperson, but yeah, it's just absolutely necessary.
Everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's absolutely necessary. I mean that's your greatest asset, really. I think. Yeah.
The short tacking on the rocks was tough because you have to focus so hard for so long. And when we finally got into a space with more water, I relaxed too much, and I didn't see that one rock. So
yeah. Oh, I mean, I think also, to be fair, the chart is not marked the way that we're used to, and
it's certainly clearer on one version than the other. So
yeah, and that one rock was just a tiny X that you had to zoom in so far that you couldn't see anything else but it.
Yeah.
And it bit us in the ass.
But it's really good lesson to have now, because now in my homework I can find those rocks. There'll be more than one of them, and make them more obvious on the chart for myself. So when I am alone, it'll be more manageable. And it was interesting talking to people after they finished, because plenty of people kissed the rocks in their little French kiss on the rocks when we were short tacking the coast to get out of the current, and it's not unusual in this fleet because you have to play it so hard, and you lose out if you don't, and there's always a risk to play. So even one of the most experienced skippers in the fleet hit a rock pretty hard, and I just hope the best for everyone getting to the start line of the solitaire, and certainly fantastic practice and a lot of humbling experiences we had in the last few days.
I got to keep my teeth.
You got to keep your teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick skateboarding accident you had.
Yeah, without a skateboard. Yeah.
Bit of a ramp though.
Yeah. Well, it was part of the story. It goes in the book Bad Ideas by Mac Mannion. Well, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been amazing, and getting to sail, and I'm looking forward to taking my shoreside role now after you got me beat up pretty good.
Yeah.
And so here's just some more Queen Among. And
yeah. Here you go, last piece.
No, you have it.
No.
Oh well, I will.
Butter and sugar. But thanks for racing with me.
Anytime.
Taking it head on.
All right.
Let's go to the solitaire. Chin.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see what it takes to get the boat ready for the next event in the next, what do we have, 2.5 weeks or so?
Yeah, we've got a few weeks before the solitaire.
Yeah. I look forward to the work, I do.